It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello! In this week's video, we're going to be talking about the North Island versus the South Island of New Zealand. We live on the North Island, but my husband has always wanted to live on the South Island. So we're going against each other with points about which is better. And I've got to say that number 5 by the end of it had me thinking he might just be right. So hang around, see what you think, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian, chew my nut.
And what?
I've got to start again.
No, you're not starting again. You can just sit there and squirm. And today we're going to be talking, while Brian chews his nuts, about the South Island and the North Island and which is the best place to live.
Yeah.
But before we do that, in case you're new to the channel, we're husband and wife.
I'm Brian the Nut Cruncher.
This isn't the sort of channel that you think it is. Honestly, we talk about New Zealand, about emigrating, travelling the world, homeschooling, basically just chew the fat about anything that we want to talk about and that we hope that you'll be interested in.
Yeah, and it really helps us if you hit the subscribe button. So you should get a spinny thing and a ding. So press that and go for notifications. It helps us to keep going. Yeah. Otherwise, you never know.
And that way, you'll never know whether Brian chewed his nut off or not, will you? Just come back next week and find out if he's a womble. Sorry, go on. Okay, so North Island and South Island. We've lived in New Zealand for 12 years.
Yep.
And you always wanted to live in the South Island. From the very beginning, you always wanted to live in the South Island.
I wanted to live in the mainland of New Zealand.
And actually, it wasn't that I wanted to. We were given a job offer to get our residency in New Zealand, to get our visas. We were given a job offer in New Plymouth. We live in Taranaki, and that was our job offer.
Yep. So if you don't know New Zealand, you've got 2 islands. You've got a long skinny island and a smaller island. This is the North Island. Then the long skinny island is the South Island.
Yeah.
South Island, Southern Hemisphere is colder. North Island is warmer. Other way around from the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because you'd think, the South
Yeah,
Island.
well, most people
warmer.
you talk to, you go, New Zealand, the South Island, that'd be the warm one.
Yeah. I thought that.
Yeah, and that's what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight away. It's just like, it's going to be warmer, but actually it's closer to Antarctica, so it's a little bit chillier.
So, like I say, we're going to go through, we've got 5 arguments that I've got to stay on the North Island, and Brian's got 5 arguments that we're moving to the South Island. So remember, this is just our opinion, so don't get your knickers in a twist if we don't say something, that's not factually correct. This is just our opinion and why we haven't yet moved to the South Island.
Yep.
If you stay to the end and hear number 5, I think number 5 is the one that really will eventually sway it to move to the South Island for me personally.
Now, Liz always does all the notes, and to make it that little bit more, I don't know, was it worse or better or spontaneous?
Yeah.
I don't really know what the questions are.
You just sit there and chew your nuts, look, and I'll tell you what we're going to talk about.
Some dark chocolate nuts.
Okay, so first of all, you need to know about the population of New Zealand. So 77% of New Zealanders live in the North Island. And what's the other one? The 23% live in the South Island. So you can imagine, are they both the same size in mass, like in area?
Well, when I said the small island and the long big island.
Oh, okay. Okay, so when you are on the South Island, it does feel like there's masses of
space. It's about twice the size of the, and this is just me guessing, looking at it, it looks about twice the size of the North Island.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Maybe not quite twice the size, but
So number 1, why I always wanted to stay in the North Island as opposed to the South Island is the weather. Because we'd moved from Britain, where it's always bloody freezing. And it was like, well, I don't want to move and then go to the South Island and it be cold. So apparently the temperature, hang on, I wrote it down. The temperature so if you go far north, there's like a subtropical climate. I always want to live in the far north.
So if
I'd love to go up there and live.
Yeah, mosquitoes.
No.
So just thinking of the North Island, we all know Australia. So Melbourne in Australia is the same longitude. Was it latitude? Longitude goes around, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to
get
get
wound
racked for
up
that.
now.
I've done my navigation course and I'm thinking, latitude,
wait
longitude.
for that to come out.
Yeah, so I think it's latitude actually. It's the same latitude as Auckland.
What does that mean?
Very
What are we
similar.
talking about?
Well, that's so
Oh, we're on a level
how
with...
far you are to the equator.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh,
tropics.
okay. I see what you mean. So if you went in a line, we'd be... Who did you say? Melbourne?
Melbourne,
Yeah.
Roughly the same. So it's a similar climate to Melbourne. People go, oh, no, it's not. But yeah.
Well, Auckland is, yeah.
Auckland, yeah.
New Plymouth.
And then you've got the Northlands after Auckland, which go further up.
Yeah. And New Plymouth, I'll tell you about, but New Plymouth is just one of the big things that I loved when we were moving to New Zealand. Brian phoned up and Brian got a job plumbing over here. If you haven't seen that video, go and watch it, being a plumber in New Zealand. And the lady that was on reception who was trying to sway us to come over to New Zealand, do you remember?
Yeah.
She said, New Plymouth, she said, it's got the most sunshine hours in the whole of New Zealand. And do you remember she said that?
Yeah, she did, yeah.
One of the places in New Zealand that's got the most sunshine.
And this is what's a bit crazy about New Zealand, isn't it?
What?
Everywhere seems to say we get the most sunshine hours.
I know,
One minute
because
New Plymouth
Nelson
say it, and then
that.
Nelson, then Hawke's Bay, and then it's like, come on, New Zealand,
Actually,
who is it?
Well, it's us. Look at it. Beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, and
It's rained for a week.
Yeah, it has. It's been awful, but it's been really... But anyway, I think... And also, we did a podcast with a girl that was building a tiny home in the far north of New Zealand. Oh, I was sold on that. I was absolutely sold on it. So what would you say then, if you were going to try and convince me, because I love the sun and I love the warmth, about the weather in New Zealand, in the North Island compared to the South Island?
So the big thing with, if you live in the North Island, you kind of, being from the UK, obviously we're from the UK originally, being from in the North Island, you tend not to get the 4 seasons as the 4 seasons. So, that autumn fall, where all the leaves go red. So it's that time of year at the moment. If I look out of my window right now, it's just green. Everything's green. There's pine trees, there's the native bush, there's pungas, which are the fern trees. And you don't really get that huge, big mass of red and gold and amber and everything. You do. There are deciduous trees on the North Island. The pioneers brought them over with them. But the South Island has a lot more deciduous trees. Again, the pioneers took them over to there, and you just have that feeling that it's winter, and I know it's colder, and a lot of people go, oh yeah, but it's cold. It's like, yeah, but I'm a heating engineer. My house will always be warm.
Actually, can I just say, when I went in to wake Tessa this morning, she was in the bed with her clothes on.
I know, but it's Tessa.
What's wrong with that girl? She's not your daughter.
No.
What daughter of yours would be cold in bed?
She'd be the daughter of my mum.
Your mum was always cold. Thin blood. But so I do agree. Actually. I love the seasons, and every time we've been down to the South Island, the weather, like you say, that real... where you can wear gloves and a hat and a scarf. You can never seem to... you can't, can you?
No, you don't. Because I found a pair of fingerless gloves when we were clearing out Sonny's wardrobe the other day, and I was thinking, they'd be nice to wear in the winter, actually. And then you just think, when does it ever really get that cold? And
a bit of an 80s vibe going on, did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I just thought I could pick my croissant up with the fingerless gloves, and that'd be nice, wouldn't it? With a bit of coffee on them.
You were going to wear some fingerless gloves?
I saw them.
All right.
It was just a moment.
Yeah,
it's gone. I left them in the room.
Well, these will look nice. Look at these. These will
I was thinking more stepped on sun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more 70s.
Yeah. So the weather. And also, Wanaka is just... how hot does it get in the summer in Wanaka? It's dry.
It's dry as a bone.
I love that when we go down in the summer.
We did even Central Otago, it doesn't get that much rain, does it? Which is not... That's sort of Queenstown area. Wanaka and...
it's gorgeous.
It is. It's just
gorgeous.
Mountains, there's big lakes. It's just dry. It's gorgeous.
But, all right, we'll move on. But I just want to say, the weather in the north, if you go up there and it's Gisborne and just like that hot Northlands, and it's just gorgeous and hot, and you can just go on the beach and it's just lovely.
Yeah, I'll ask you this one question. Where's the best holiday you've had in New Zealand?
I'm going to say
what?
that place.
Kaikoura, Hamner Springs?
No, actually, no.
Marlborough Sounds? No?
You wouldn't win Mr. and Mrs. No, that's not what I was going to say. Do you remember Mr. and Mrs?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say the Bay of... no, Brian, what's it called? Marlborough Sounds. Marlborough.
It's the same holiday.
What's wrong with my brain?
It's the same holiday.
Yes, it is. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I'll give you that one. It's okay. All right then. So I think, do you win on the South Island then for the weather?
Well,
because you get the nice hot, dry summers.
Yeah, but you get gorgeous weather in the you go over and see your sister over in Gisborne, and it's almost like too hot, But then the mosquitoes at night, they just eat you.
Yeah. That's
So
a different podcast altogether. But I know what you mean. Yeah, that really, really hot.
Yeah.
The older I get and the more like, I just want to snuggle up by the fire and be proper winter and, then it is seeming more attractive. Tell me what that guy said again on the YouTube comment about the ice. I liked that story.
Yeah, there was a comment the other week, wasn't it? Because we've just did a Queenstown vlog when we were down there. At the start of the summer back in 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, go and watch the Queenstown vlog.
Go and have a check it out. And he just said Queenstown, it is colder, but those days when you just get the hoarfrost, and that's what you do miss on the North Island is that hoarfrost. You get frost, and yet people in further inland, because we're quite coastal where we are, so yes, you will get a bit more frost, but it's that hoarfrost when it's gone down to like -8 or 9 or something like that.
I've never heard that word before, hoarfrost. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, you get it in
you
England.
You described it to me where it's all glistening.
It's that spiky frost when everything's gone really damp.
I love that.
It's
so
just
pretty.
It's a winter wonderland when you see it
like
that, isn't it?
Narnia, isn't it?
Yeah,
It reminds me of Narnia, like walking through a Narnia scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2. All right then. So I think the beaches in the North Island, you can't beat them. But you always say to me, but the wilderness in the South Island, and you don't get that same wilderness in the North Island.
You've always liked oceans, being by the ocean, I suppose. So
yeah,
you do like your beaches and things. And I always said I'm happy to be in the mountains where the lakes are, and that type of feel.
There are beaches in the South Island,
they're gorgeous
definitely
ones as well.
But
look at them around Nelson with that golden sand that time. It's just amazing.
I know, but the North Island's got loads of gorgeous beaches. The South Island just feels like they're wild. It reminds me of like...
we haven't been to enough beaches on the South
No,
Island.
I mean, that's what...
Even Dunedin, that's got some gorgeous
but we've
beaches.
been all down the West Coast and we've all been down all past Kaikoura and all down there. So we've done our fair share, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
We've seen a fair share of beaches and it's just... The North Island, you go like the Coromandel and just they're just gorgeous.
Yeah,
absolutely pristine, beautiful beaches. As opposed to the wild, still beautiful, but wild and more rugged, maybe.
Yeah.
But
because like round Hokitika and stuff like that, as much as they are gorgeous beaches, it's all the black sands and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
which is lovely.
You've got preference of black sand or white sand, yeah.
The wilderness in the South Island,
Yeah, you just drive around the corners and you're just like, oh my God. And you think it's going to stop and then it doesn't. It gets better, doesn't it? And it's not just a little bit that you drive through. It seems to be you can drive for 2 or 3 hours and you just think, this has just been an outstanding drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when if you move into New Zealand and someone will say to you, oh yeah, but I bet that's just, you've watched Lord of the Rings and all these gorgeous films that show, like the big drone shots of New Zealand and you're like, yeah, but I bet it's not like that in real life. The South Island is like being in a constant movie, isn't it?
It is. It's like being, it is.
It blows you away. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's so frustrating because my mum has never been to the South Island and she loves the North Island. She loves all the areas of the North Island. She's like, oh no, it can't be as beautiful as the South Island. When you just want to say, please, just go down there.
Yeah, there's lots of people who live in New Zealand who've never been to the South Island.
But in saying that is why I never wanted to move there with a young family.
Yeah. Because
I was under the impression, right or wrong, and I think it was wrong, and now I think, yeah, you're probably wrong, Liz, was that it was too vast and too nothing going on, that's the impression I got, was just, oh no, it's going to be, they're not going to have any friends, they're not going to, I don't know, it just seems so massive, all this space.
I think the thing is like you say, with young kids,
maybe it was too much of a shock, Bri, coming from England.
Yeah, but it would be, wouldn't it?
We came from Bath in England where it was so heavily populated, and then, you sort of like want to take it gently, don't you? You want to go, okay, you're coming from a busy, and then North Island, New Plymouth especially, is like medium, and then South Island is...
Yeah, but it is. It's just that there's less people down there. Obviously, around the cities, it's busier as well. You wouldn't really know the difference if you're outside, Dunedin, New Plymouth, Christchurch has got a busy feel to it. It feels like a city.
I like
There's a good motorway network around it and stuff like that. So yeah, that feels more city vibe. But you always feel that, Wellington and Auckland do, they always get the bigger shows first and this, that and the other. And you feel like, I don't know, well...
I don't know. Tell us, please. Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do. We're assuming that they do. So
we're only talking about entertainment, as in shows. You're talking about, if
theatre.
Lion King comes to New Zealand, it tends to go to Auckland first, doesn't it?
That's not fair, is it?
Well, it's where the more population is. They know and plus as well the advertising's there, isn't it? So but yeah, I don't know. It's just. I don't mind that side of it, but with kids, you might just think, yes, there's more opportunity on the North Island. But it's a plane flight away. It's like
a real tricky one.
It's an hour flight on the plane, isn't it?
Is that just a misconception? Is it just a misconception of it wouldn't be? Because I'm sure that if you brought kids up down there, they would have had just as much opportunity. Yeah. And we brought our kids up in New Zealand, and we homeschooled. So bear in mind, they didn't go to school, and they have had masses of opportunities in New Zealand. They're both into the theatre, they're both musicians, and honestly, I just think I am so happy that we are here, because it just feels like they've had so much opportunity, and you wouldn't think that. You'd be thinking, New Zealand, down at the other end of the world, they're not going to, and she wants to be an actress. But they've had masses of opportunity, haven't they?
Yeah, it's like,
I'm not going to go into it now, but just know they have.
It's another podcast at a time,
they have.
isn't it? That?
Let us know if you want that
we're
podcast.
losing track on what is the difference between the North and the South.
Yeah, I know. Okay, look, have one of your
But that's what we talked about, though. We talked about, moving down there. Why didn't we move there?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't anybody just move?
We're on track.
Straight down there. Why would anyone move to Auckland? Why would anyone bother that when you've got Queenstown? It's that type of weird feeling, isn't it? It's like, some people just want to be in a big city.
But you know what, Bri? We've got so basically we've got a New Zealand guide, and within that guide there's a Slack group, a private community of New Zealand people who are moving to New Zealand, and there's a couple there at the moment, and they're going to Dunedin, and they love the outdoors. And I think if it was just me and you as well, and then I would never have hesitated. I would have been like, just that space, and that if you were into hiking and walking, tramping and just being in the outdoors, I don't think the South Island, you can beat it, really. No,
because it does have that feel. But the thing is, if you love mountains, it's great. But if you love coast, it's got coast as well.
So talking about mountains, number 4 is, we're on number 3 or number... Anyway, so talk about mountains. We're on number 3 or 4. So the weather, the wilderness. Number 3. Extreme sports. Maybe not so much now, because Bri just likes to sit and chew his nuts, but back in the day, you were a massive skier, and you'd love to water ski and mountain biking, and I'm only joking. And you always wanted to go to the South Island for that reason, didn't you? Yeah,
it just seemed more accessible to do those things. I mean, you can do just the same on the North Island.
I don't think you can.
You can.
Extreme sports.
We've been river rafting on the North Island. We've been mountain biking. We've been skiing.
You're supposed to be sticking up for the South Island.
No, I'm just saying. But you can do. This is what the amazing thing with New Zealand is you can do the same things on both islands. It's just not that. It just doesn't feel. Like when you're down around the Queenstown area, you drive along, you see an AJ Hackett bungee jump, the guy who invented bungee. And he's got these different places around. There's one on a bridge, there's one on the Ben Nevis one, that's what Brian from the US did as well, wasn't it? And you see these things a little bit more. It just seems more accessible, easier to do.
I think it seems massively more accessible, personally, because we've skied in the North Island, and snow skied, and we've been to the South Island ski.
We went to the South Island to ski. Yep. It was on my 50th birthday, wasn't it, around that time?
We just went on a wine tour instead.
There was no snow.
So I've just gone on a wine tour. But you've got to admit, Bri, the South Island it's me. You're supposed to be.
Yeah, but that's what
okay. But the South Island I don't know. It just feels more. If you live in the South Island, I reckon you're really cool.
Yep.
Do you?
There is.
I reckon you're just like one of those big buff. If we moved there.
Yeah, you'd imagine like as if you're going to be Grizzly Adams from Canada or something, you know, and he was living up there and whatever, or wherever it is he was from. And you think it would be a little bit more like that, don't you?
I think it is like that. I do, Bri. I think when you go down there, how can you not be inspired when you go down there and there's massive mountains and like, you know, just deep, what are those things called that go down like this? Crevasses? Is it called a crevasse? You know, like where the cliff goes and the
Canyon.
water. No, there's a word for it, isn't there? You know, when the water all falls out and like a big waterfall and...
I'm just going to close that door.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. Because I just don't that wind coming across. You can still hear me.
Yeah, because you've got your portable microphone. Brian went out and bought some of these little portable microphones to use. So yeah, I just think the South Island, it does feel more wild and, like Brian said, bungee jumping. And although you can do all the... Are you all right?
Yeah.
Although you can all do all those in the North Island, I think the South Island is more... It's just more adventurous. I think it's more adventurous.
It is. Well, definitely. Well, that's what it's known for. If you're coming to New Zealand and you were going to do adventure, you tend to head to the South Island.
Yeah.
You know, you want to come down through the North Island. There's a lot more Maori culture and stuff like that, and there's those things to come and see as you do that sort of route down through, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So that's what I was going to say. So when we talked about moving and all these things, remember, we were the same as you. Like, you know, if you're thinking about... I keep looking at that camera up there. It's this one I'm supposed to be looking at, isn't it? I keep looking at the top one.
Yeah, so our eyes,
Yeah, but we were the same as you, and we're like weighing up all the different things. And the big Maori culture in the North, there's more Maori live in the North Island than the South Island, and I think there's more opportunity to immerse yourself in the Maori culture on the North Island. Do you think that?
Definitely. Well, it is because it's just... It's
and I'm not just talking about like, you know, the touristy rotorua, you know, things that you can go. I'm talking about, you know, you can go to right to the top, Cape Reinga.
Yep.
Reinga, I think you've got to pronounce it, isn't it? Yep. And just all that area and region, and it's full of just history and Maori culture. And I'm not saying that you can't see, like, because do you remember when we went to Hokotiki on the South Island, and we went to see that carving, and you know, I'm not saying you can't see it on the South Island, but it just feels more like you're immersed in it in the North Island. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's because there's more people, I don't know. So that was another thing as well. We were like, do you think it feels more British on the South Island? I do. Yes, it does. Well, that's what we were saying before. It feels more European over there because they you know, the way they planned all the farms and things like that, and you know, sheep farms, dairy farms. It just feels it's just what it does. You know, even up in the Mackenzie country, those big ranches and farms that are up there, it just has that sort of a European feel to it. It's almost like Scottishness as well. You know, and that's a big Scottish culture down there. It really is. I've never been to Dunedin and I am desperate to go there. Yeah. And we've got friends now that are moving over. If you listen to that podcast, it's an interview with Katie and David. They moved over from America. It's not a video, but it's a podcast, but it's just so beautiful. The way they're so podcast, excited with their little family, and they've invited us down and we're going to go and stay down there with them. So when we go down to Dunedin, we'll do a vlog for you about it. I'll bring my nuts, all right? Okay, so the last one, I think this is the clinched, what's the deal breaker? I can't get my words today. Deal breaker. And this is the house prices. So hang on, I've got some facts. Ready? I don't know about this, but... Yeah, so this is from the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand. The Real Estate Institute of New Zealand. Yeah. Yep. In 2020, the median house prices in Auckland, guess how much? Don't look. Guess how much? You've seen now. I'd say around about $1 million. I'd say around about $1,007,000. Just a rough guess. Give or take a few pennies. $1,007,000. And I'm going to say that again. Isn't it? $1 million, Bri. Yeah. And 7,000. It's like, what? Okay, so compared to Christchurch, median house prices, 2020, guess how much? I don't know because I haven't seen this. Only 700,000. No. 491,000. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. House prices in New Zealand are Auckland quite high. Yeah. $1 million, I'd say. Yeah. Auckland's just off the scale. Yeah. How can anyone afford to live there? Queenstown and Auckland. I think Queenstown is the highest in New Zealand. Is it? Yeah, I think it is.
But I think Auckland is obviously second, because obviously there's more people live in Auckland than that. You know, some of the houses in Queenstown are. That Kelvin Heights is some of the highest real estate in New Zealand.
If you want to know how much we pay for our house, because we built our own house, go and watch our podcast, Building Your Own Home in New Zealand.
This very house that
we're sitting in, and that'll tell you. But the other interesting fact that I wrote down that I couldn't believe when I found this. So bearing in mind, they're like 1 million versus 490.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah,
but from Statistics New Zealand data, the average weekly earnings for like a job like a teacher, that's exactly the same.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's what you tend to find in New Zealand is the prices it tends to be similar all around the country, doesn't it? You know. So
why then would you choose to live in Auckland with a house price is $1 million when you can live in Christchurch, which is, you know, beautiful city. Absolutely, they're spending so much money rebuilding, and
the thing
feels
is,
very hip, Christchurch.
If you come into New Zealand, and this is just a little bit of advice on this, if you do come, if you live. You know, if you're struggling on your points to get your what you call expression of interest, to get points to get it picked from the pool to say, hey, yes, you know, you can come to New Zealand as a skilled migrant, you get an extra 10 points for not living in Auckland. Because it's overpopulated, Auckland. It's a skinny city. You can't go east to west because you fall into the oceans. So they can only go north to south. And it's just, it is developing, but I just think if you're coming all the way to New Zealand, it's like, what is the point? I'm not banging Auckland, but it's just, it's almost like you may as well stay in a big city somewhere else in the world than come here.
I am going to stick up for Auckland there, Bri, because I don't like it as much as Wellington. Wellington is my favourite. But it's a beautiful city.
It's an amazing city.
It's a city of sails.
I love going to Auckland.
Gorgeous.
I really
but
do.
It does feel expensive.
Yeah.
But the good thing about when you go to Auckland is you feel as if you're in a big city. You know, when you if that's what you desire, if you really want to just think, do you know what, I just want the city life, then go to Auckland if you can afford it.
It's a huge multicultural society there, and but it just feels like, you know, you go to do something there, and there's another 500 people doing the same thing as you. That's what it feels like again. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Why? When have you ever felt like that?
Just that time when we went up at New Year for that festival that Sonny was doing the videography at, and we went for an ice cream.
Oh yeah.
And we just pulled in, and then it just seemed like everybody was going for an ice cream. It was all right. It was 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, but
was it frantic?
It was frantic. Yeah. Well, normally you just go and get your ice cream, but it was just like we had to wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
heaven forbid.
But it was just amazing because you just think, wow, look at all these people buying an ice cream. Yeah.
But personally, I agree. I'm like, I don't know why you would come to New Zealand, and we're probably going to get loads of people now saying, I'm from Auckland,
we went
brilliant.
I can't remember the name of that beach. It wasn't Piha, but we just wanted to go and see one of the beaches locally where we were.
Which there are fabulous beaches around Auckland.
But we couldn't get parked.
No.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere, so you've got to take your car. Hey, Sonny, are you going to come and say hello?
No.
Is it a live stream?
On the podcast.
No, it's not a live stream,
it's just a video. I didn't. So,
There's the original podcaster.
Yeah, hello, darling.
Hello.
We did put a sign out saying recording a podcast, but just out the door. That's all right. That's okay. Yeah, it was on the floor. You wouldn't have seen it. But, because you'll be like that. So, just wrapping things up then, if you had your time again, would you move to the South Island or stay on the North Island?
The thing is, it would be a hard choice because
just say
I wouldn't want to change what we did.
No, true.
So,
true.
But if I had the choice to do and go, it was never a problem, I would probably have chosen the South Island purely for my trade would have been better down there.
You'd never have been out of work in the South Island.
But
that's not a good thing because then you wouldn't have come and done this business with me.
I know, yeah. But
so like you say, it would have worked out differently, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I think I just would have been so busy down there, you know, because it was just right in my field. There's lots of...
So remember, Brian is a heating engineer,
underfloor heating. There's biomass boilers to put in. There's heat pumps. There's all sorts of things that
Your daughter wouldn't be sleeping in her clothes down there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Would she? So you'd go to the South Island, would you?
I think so, because I love the mountains. It's nothing. It just gives me. It inspires me when I see those mountains that you want to go up them, you ski them, or just looking at them. It's just awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that side of things.
So Nikki had a really good question. We're going to wrap up now, but Nikki said, so when
Is this Nikki the Evertonian?
Shh. Go
This
the
is
Blues.
wearing blue.
Go the Blues.
The Toffees.
So Nikki said, when we went down to the South Island in this vlog, we talked about how this very conversation that we're having now, about how, when we first moved to New Zealand, I didn't want to live, not Brian, I didn't want to live in the South Island. And then the more you visit it, you're like, oh, do you know what? I'd love to move down here. And she said, Liz, was that because the South Island has changed in the last 12 years, or is it because you've changed? That's a really good question, Nikki. I think it's because I've changed. In answer to your question, I think it's because I've changed.
But I think your kids, the kids aren't.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Would I do it if I had little kids again? Like Brian said, that's a really difficult question because we've had such a fabulous time in New Zealand the last 12 years. I wouldn't change a thing ever. But can I see me and Brian emigrating?
Emigrating to the
We're
South
emigrating.
Island. You need a passport for the South Island.
Can I see us moving down there in the near future? Yep, I can.
For good, I don't know, but just to go, right, let's go and live down there for 6 months.
Yeah, just go and try it.
Yeah.
Just go and try it and just, I can't tell you enough how beautiful it is and how the feel down there is just that feeling of, it just feels like you can breathe out. Yeah. Again, someone on YouTube said to me, the word you're looking for, Liz, is vibe. And I thought, do you know what? That's spot on. That is spot on because it's just got a completely different vibe down there. Yeah. So anyway, we've been going for 31 minutes now, so probably time to wrap up. Yeah.
And
remember, if you haven't signed up for our 5 free-day video guide that we offer about moving to New Zealand, now's your time to do it. I'll put a link in the description below. Yep. That's a great one to use. And but apart from that, I hope you found this talk about the North Island and the South Island of New Zealand interesting. And do you know what I would love you to do if you're still here and you're still listening? Can you just comment and just say where you live and where you think what would sway us to move there? Like, if you live somewhere in New Zealand and you're like, you need to come and see this place, and we can come and maybe do a vlog or a podcast from there, and that would be really good fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
So where are we going next? South Island.
We're actually going in the office to do some editing.
That's 5 hours.
So thanks very much for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.
Hey, kia kaha, stay strong, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Hello.